Well, it was good, as you saw today, you had a chance to kind of focus on special teams. And, a lot of times offense and defensively we do the big, move the ball type scrimmages, a chance just to have the field and get some good work without wearing them out. And it's the, halfway point of camp. And the one thing that I'm starting to see is, we're starting to get better at the execution. Now we're putting more time into just playing, but we're starting to see, early, especially when you're installing and guys are thinking, some of the good plays, offensively or defensively, come from mistakes on the other side of the ball. And now you're starting to see a little bit more of plays being made as opposed to plays being given. And so I've liked that. You're starting to see it. We obviously got a ways to go. We're not, myself and I think the players will be the first to say not where we want to be, but clearly I think personnel things are starting to become clearer. Although with that being said, some of the question marks we had going in, with Hayden and Bo being out, it's not clear yet. And same would be the inside linebacker spot with TJ and Leon, but it's provided great opportunities for other guys. And Walker Williams on offense has gotten a ton of reps, and I think that's been helpful for him. And some of the younger guys, and kind of finding out who those, when you hopefully get those guys back, you find out who your sixth, seventh, some case maybe your fifth lineman is. And I think you see that with the linebackers. The inside linebacker spot, Alec Ingo and Chryst have got a ton of work, and I think have taken advantage of that. And so, it's a midway point of camp, and I like what the guys have been putting out and giving to us, and we just got to make sure we maximize the next opportunities we have here.
Regarding the four guys you mentioned, the two tackles and the two inside linebackers, do you have a better idea today on when you might get any of those guys back?
I think I don't anticipate any of them being this week,
Okay.
but I do think, we've been fortunate. None of those are season-ending injuries, but, Leon was able to do some stuff in our walkthrough, and TJ's starting to make some progress. Hayden, I think, will be a couple days, and Bo, my guess, would be the furthest of that group away.
Would you say camp is on schedule? You're where you need to be?
Jay, when you ask that, you are where you are, and then how do you make go? And I think in some areas, I think if you were to say what's your schedule or what's your hopeful timetable, we are. And then some of these personnel things have kind of set it back. Now they've given, we're playing, so guys are getting opportunities. So you're finding out a little bit more about some guys maybe that you weren't thinking you'd get that much out of or see that much out of. So try not to go into camp with this is where we got to be. I think it's like in a season. You got to take advantage of each day, each opportunity, and help the group get better. So I think in some areas we are, and some, if you were to really reflect on it, you'd want to be a little further ahead.
How comfortable are you with Giglianone taking it? I don't think he's missed yet, but in camp at least practices opened up.
Did you ever play baseball?
Yes.
Did you ever
No.
go when you had a guy pitching a no-hitter and you were the guy in the dugout that said, you got a no-hitter going?
Right.
No, it's what the thing I like is, I think he relishes those moments, and he tried to simulate a little bit. Right, it's a Wednesday morning in August. It's not the same, but his track record has been good, and it's kind of what we've talked all along to the kids. Once you do something, once you set a personal standard, then that is the standard. That is the expectation, and everything you do on the field creates your football resume. And so I think he's starting to build that, and so that's his expectation. Therefore, he's done it. And therefore, other people, that becomes the expectation, and then the challenge, the personal challenge in this game is continuing to be that guy that is the good one that people expect, and I think he's certainly starting to build that resume, and it's a good one right now.
A few years back, a lot of teams started to use the shield punt,
Mm-hmm.
and it's changed. And you guys changed when you were here the last time, but you guys are back to the pro style. What do you obviously must prefer something about that? What do you prefer with the pro versus that shield look?
well, having lived that one that year, you know, I think it's like anything. Whatever you believe in,
Okay.
you should do. I like what we do. I think it's one of those our kids, once they understand it and go, and there are really good teams that use the shield punt, and they're good units. And I think there's really good teams that use the pro styles. Probably be the same with what we're doing offensively. So I think it's what you believe in,
Okay.
what you can teach,
Okay.
and what you think fits your players, and then you try to get real good at the execution.
Have you decided on Bart as the number 2 quarterback, or is there still competition there?
You know, we have not made any determination on that. I think our job, particularly here in camp, is to try to create as much competition at as many spots as we can. And so, but we haven't gone and say you're the definitive 2, you're the definitive 3. And at all the positions, we're trying to create competition as best we can.
How comfortable do you feel with, you know, DJ Gillens or Bart Houston? If Joel were to go down, how comfortable do you feel with those guys taking charge of the offense?
I think it's our job to make sure that they feel comfortable, the players. And if the players feel comfortable and the players feel good, I think they're both talented enough to play quarterback and to win with. And it's our job as coaches to help them to where they're comfortable, where they can play. I think they've got you know, good enough talent, and it's our job to help them be able to maximize. And you always play best with the talent when you're comfortable in what you're doing. You know what you're doing, and so I think we're working towards that.
Are you still looking then beyond Alex and Jamerson at punt and kickoff return, or are those guys the leaders right now at those spots? Erickson and
Yeah.
Jamerson.
I think right now they'd be the leaders in the clubhouse. I think that's the phrase.
Where do you come down on using starters in those roles? Not just returners, but on special teams overall.
I think you gotta put the best team out you can, and we got guys that wanna wanna do anything they can to contribute to this team, and they know that. And I think, you know, individually it's good for those guys, and then they learn, and they're building their football resume. And so, you know, you got to be, I think, like all your players, you know, what are the right number of snaps for them during a game? And we got to be conscious of that. And it's not the same for every player, but absolutely expect, you know, our starters to contribute on special teams.
Serge isn't a starter, obviously, but it looks like his speed on kickoff coverage might be able to help you. Is that why you guys have him out there?
Yeah, hoping for that, and you know, I think that's another thing that, you know, we talked about starters, and you talk about guys that, you know, we're looking, talked to them in the team meeting today, talking about, you know, every team's going to need, and there's no one more respected in the team, the locker room and the team meeting room than those core special teams guys, and the core guys that play all 4 phases. Heck, they get a lot of, sometimes they'll get more snaps than your second tight end or your nickel defensive back, and so you know, that's where we got to do some more of this and put them in situations where they can play and see. Special teams, I think you can find out guys who just know how to play football. They find the ball and they can do a lot of different things. And so I like their approach today and throughout camp with the teams. And you know, we all, you know, you all have seen enough football. I've been around enough football where special teams can be a difference. Now it's our job to make that come to fruition.
Do you have a clear idea on how much you want to use Tanner on offense and maybe what his role is there?
Yeah, I think Tanner's a really good receiver, and I think that, you know, certainly we're going to use him on offense, and I think he's a guy that's played a lot of safety and played well at that position. So right now, our plan is, you know, going forward, much like we talked about before, and using him both ways.
Is that a feel thing that you find out as the games go on how much he can handle?
I think from him, gathering the accurate information from him, and then us making sure that we're together on the same page with it.
As you hit the halfway point of camp, is it good to get a 60-degree day to maybe freshen everybody up a little bit?
I don't know, we had popsicles afterwards. I thought we needed hot chocolate instead or something, you know. You know what? You know what I like about it is And I think when you get a team, it doesn't matter what, you know. And I think I could care less, you know. But it's good. You know, change is good. You know, when we went from the turf to the grass, now come back down, change the price of the night, in the morning. You know, I think change is good, and you got to deal with whatever comes your way. You know, wind. You know, kickers probably came out and geez, it's windy, and then you say this is great for the returners. You got to make, you know, decisions. So, you know, we had that happen today. You know, punt into the wind a little bit, or wasn't hit as clean as you want. Hits a pressure shoulder, so that's a situation that if you don't play, you know, there's some teaching off of that one. But it's a good changeup, I guess.
How much progress have you seen from Gillens from the start of spring to now?
I think I've seen a lot, and I think a big part of it is he works at it, and you know, I think he's at that stage where now the next thing is trusting his knowledge, trusting his preparation, which he's done a ton of, and that I really like about him. And he's talented, and I think he's done some good things. And when he's a little bit behind on something, I think he knows it and sees it, and so he's starting to feel that. And he just he needs more reps, you know. And that's the one thing that, you know, we had some of the guys with the injuries. It's affected probably more the development of some young guys than it has necessarily, you know, where our first couple groups are at.